Welcome to the season premiere of the Geeky Dad. We're in season 2, and we learned a lot from what we did in season 1. Originally the show was just about me being a dad and a geek, and talking about fatherhood, and occasionally doing reviews here and there for various things, and then something strange happened. The kids wanted to be in the show, so I put them in for one episode, and I thought, okay, that's good, that's cool, that's something. And then they wanted to be in the next one a little bit more, and by the third episode, the kids took over the show. And that's been the running theme for the first season. If you go back and listen, if you're new and you go back to the first season and you see the progression of our show, you can see that the kids worked their way into the show way more than they did, and it's a cool evolution, because our show evolved because of them. And, I think they're probably one of the more popular aspects of the show. I think most people are not here for me. They're here to hear the kids most of the time. And they're also here to listen to our guests that we have. And, last season, we had a lot of great guests on our show, a lot of geeky dads, and we have lined up a big list of dads, and some non-dads as well for season 2, and that list keeps growing every week, so you're gonna see a lot of great guest stars on the show, so I really hope you stick with us for the next season. If you like the first season, this season is going to be even better. Okay? Now, on with the show! I'm your host, Rafael Moran, and this is the season premiere episode of the Geeky Dad podcast. We have a special guest today. His name is Jordan DesJardins, and he is the CEO of the great website called GeekAnything.com. It's a great place for some great geek content besides their own. Plus, I have him on the show to talk about one thing in particular. He happens to be a new dad, relatively new. And, it's good to get a perspective of a brand new dad and see what his opinions are on fatherhood and the adventures that come with it. But before we get to our guest, we have our co-hosts that need to come in here. They are the Multiverse Kids, and they are from the Multiversal Chamber itself, Rayan and Ariana. Let me bring them in. Okay, it's a new season, and that means new cast member. What's your name, little boy?
Say Raiden.
Raiden.
And how old are you?
Say
Do.
Okay. And what is my name?
Name.
Geeky Dad.
Geeky Dad. Hey, you kicked me out.
Yeah, well, that's tough luck. It's Hollywood, they always go with the younger and cuter kid.
But then you should have kicked Ariana out.
We need her. We need at least one girl on the show.
Yeah, I'm his only daughter.
Yeah, we have two boys. We can go with the cuter boy.
Yeah.
But
Plus, he's like my
Yeah.
He says
Yeah.
whatever I want him to say. He can say all the numbers. Well, most of them. He can say almost any word.
He says also what I want him to say.
Yeah, well, okay, fine. We'll keep you on for one more season because that baby doesn't know how to talk like full sentences yet.
Not one season.
Yeah, plus he can't do reviews.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what the hell he's watching most of the time.
You should keep him until you should keep him until Raiden's 4.
Okay, you're lucky. We're gonna keep you around on the show for at least
2 seasons.
maybe 2 more seasons. Okay.
Why can't he come to show when it's season 5?
Who says we're gonna even do this show till season 5? We don't even know yet.
We should.
Yeah, right now this is season 2. Let's not go too far.
Okay.
Season 5. We will go.
Well, let's begin season 2. Okay, let's get down to brass taxes. What?
What's that?
It's an expression. What?
Why did he say brass taxes?
It means let's get down to business.
Why didn't you just say that? My God.
I'm old. I have to use old expressions.
Then we wouldn't know what you're talking about.
He don't even know what he's saying.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to explain things to you.
You're here so we can review.
Yes, we are here to review. And I saw The Eternals last season. Now you kids finally get to see The Eternals on Disney+. What did you guys think of the movie, Ariana?
I give it 2 thumbs up.
Really?
2 thumbs up.
Out of your toes and your hands?
Fine, 3.
Seriously? Okay. What did you give it?
3. Now thumbs down.
Thumbs down?
Yeah.
Finally, you give something thumbs down. Give me a high five.
Broke the contract of being a multiverse kid.
Yeah, you guys finally don't like something from Marvel.
I said 3, not him.
Ah,
You count.
boys, stick together. Oh, yeah.
You don't even count. You aren't even a kid. You're a teenager.
She's not a teenager.
I'm still 9.
No, you're 13.
I'm 9.
You're 13.
I'm 9.
You're 13.
Anyhow, what did you not like about the Eternals?
That it was turned bad.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that's a given. Okay.
They should
You know, in the comic books, Icarus was actually good. You
Who's
know,
the bad guy?
the same nasty looking thing, the deviant.
But is there any Eternal that turned bad?
Yeah, Droog is bad in the comics sometimes.
I thought he was gonna turn bad. I mean, he was really bad, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Was there
Also-
anything you didn't like in the movie, Ariana?
They took about a whole hour just to get everyone.
Yeah, it's a bit slower than most of the.
Also, Kingo
Yeah.
didn't do anything. They
Yeah,
could have just cut that whole part out.
exactly. Kingo is a loso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the worst character I've ever seen. You know,
Who would like someone that can't grow?
And he didn't even go to the final battle. He just gave up. He was like, "No, I agree with Icarus."
yeah.
And they found out that he was bad at that time.
Yeah, I mean, if he agrees with Icarus, why didn't he help Icarus in the fight?
Yeah, that's what Sprite did.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
was in love with him.
well, yeah. You know, Kingo was lame-o, okay? And, you know, we're all brown, and, you know, finally we have a brown superhero in the Marvel Universe.
And he didn't do anything.
Yeah, and he's the lamest one of all.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he go good?
Actually, they could have done that on purpose.
Why?
Why
And-
did they put Cersei if she can't do anything?
I'll-
Turn a deviant into a tree.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Cersei was boring.
Lame.
Well, she
lame.
did, but she can basically make anything turn into like
I mean,
Nothing.
she has cool powers, but
What
as
does it do good?
as
she didn't fight.
as a person,
And as
she was boring.
And as a leader, bad.
Yeah,
At least she turned the
Celestial.
yeah, Celestial into like ice.
No, marble. It's marble.
It's a type of rock.
Yes, marble is a type of rock.
It looks like snow.
Listen, he's a little kid compared to you, and he knows what a marble is.
I know what marble is.
Oh, it doesn't seem like it.
Not the ones we play with, guys. The ones we play with is glass.
No, those are also marbles.
The marbles we play with, it's glass.
They look like glass because they're shiny.
But they are.
No.
That's why they're called marbles. What did you expect?
Okay. So yeah. Also, the Deviants, like, they set them up as villains, and they don't really do anything either. It's like,
Not even bad.
yeah, and plus they look like stupid, and
They're actually good.
they look fake looking.
They suck.
Yeah.
I think half of the Eternals didn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, Gilgamesh died. Yeah. Thena actually did something. She actually killed the leader of the Deviants. She actually looks the coolest in the movie.
But
even
she's
though
something bad.
even though she's like, her storyline is kind of stupid too. She's like crazy the whole time.
No, she's remembering the past.
Yeah, I mean,
And she's turning crazy.
it wasn't that interesting. She looked cool though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She had the best one, even though hers is white.
Yeah, she has the best costume. She has the best weapons, and
Yeah, because she can make weapons.
plus she's the prettiest. Yeah.
Oh, if our mom is hearing this, she'll hate you.
Whatever. Okay, and well, let's see.
One more reason.
In the comic books, by the way, Gilgamesh and Circe are main Avengers.
Huh? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were going to say something else.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh looks like Wong.
Yeah, well, in the comic books, Gilgamesh does not even look like that, okay?
They look exactly the same.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Maybe they
Yeah.
could be the same actor.
Okay, another thing that I did not like about the movie,
It had no Stan Lee making it.
I mean, I think Stanley died before they started this movie.
No. Well, but did he make it in the comics?
Actually, Stan did not create the Eternals.
See, that's why it's so. That's that's why it's so lame.
Yeah. A gentleman by the name of Jack Kirby is the one that created. Yeah.
Kirby?
Yeah,
Can he suck up stuff?
not Kirby from the video game. Okay. All right.
We're going to do dimensions.
Okay. So yeah, we're all in agreement that it could have been a lot better, right? And plus, it ends in a cliffhanger.
What, it does?
Yeah, they get kidnapped.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Also, arrows came.
yes,
But
Thanos' brother Eros showed up at the end. Yes.
Daddy,
Yeah.
you said that
What?
Athena was Thanos' cousin.
Yeah, in the comic books they are.
But I said nothing about that.
Well, they do mention Thanos' brother at the end, and maybe you're gonna find out in the next movie that.
What if there's not a next movie?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they
Then
won't be.
why-
Who knows?
Why would it end like a cliffhanger? That's what happened in Lost
Well-
in Space. No.
Well,
The
at,
old movie.
in the credits, they do say the Eternals will return. Maybe they'll return in a Disney Plus show, or maybe another, maybe a movie.
That always
Who
happens.
knows?
They always come
That's
back
what
in a
happened
movie.
That's what happened with Captain America. It says Captain America will return, and he comes back in the movie. Then
Yeah.
Captain America will return, and he comes back in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought this movie should have been a series instead of a movie. That way we could have seen all the characters develop a little bit better. And then we probably could have seen them throughout time more. Maybe one season is one time period, another season is another time period. What?
They could even do a shorts about each person.
Yeah, you could do a lot of things.
That's what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Why did they call it the anti-mind when they should have called it brainstorm? Or
No, it wasn't anti-mind. It was unimind. Okay? But brainstorm is a better...
That's what Kingo said.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing Kingo did. He just came in, make some jokes, la-di-da, and then left.
And he saved some, like, one person.
Yeah, whatever.
Who?
Whatever. He was lame.
Who
Okay?
was in the beginning.
Okay? That's it.
And he
Okay.
was pretending to be Icarus.
Okay, so what's the other...
guy.
What's the other thing that we saw to review? We saw the book of...
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So the first episode.
No, first 2 episodes. So, what did you guys think of the first 2 episodes?
Good. But he kept on going in the... Wait, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He kept on going in the back to tank.
Yeah.
And remember, it's fun past.
One of the episodes was just about his past. It has said nothing about what, like, in the present.
Well, those are called flashbacks.
Yeah, but the whole episode was a flashback.
Yeah, well, that was a cool episode. You got to see, like, the train robbery.
I
And
remember one episode a lizard went to his nose.
yeah. Yeah, the lizard went up his nose. Yeah.
Okay, stop.
The lizard went up.
It's probably wiggling up in there.
No, it came out.
Okay. all right.
When?
So
Did you guys even watch this episodes? Am I the only one who remembers?
so far,
You don't
Hey.
even remember.
so far, he seems more to kick more butt in the time when he was in the episode of Mandalorian. But in this show, he's not as much kick buddy. No? Yes?
He kept on saying, no fighting. And then some assassins came and he was like, fight. Just fight.
Crazy! What's in his head?
Well, I
And
mean,
then once the assassins go back there, he was like, terminate.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's only
They
two.
ride.
It's only 2 episodes, so I'm sure we're gonna get some more insight on who
No, there's
Boba
3
Fett.
episodes.
Boba Fett is, and maybe we'll get some cameos of different characters. You know, maybe we'll actually see Mando. Yes,
Well, Mando is the king of the,
we don't know that yet.
well, he got the thing.
He's supposed to be the king of Mandalore because
So
of the
maybe-
sword, but we don't know what's gonna happen yet in that season.
But,
Yes.
But if he does become it, and since Boba Fett is
It's kind of like Boba Fett is like the
leader.
leader of Tatooine's
crime syndicate.
crime syndicate. Yes.
And the Geeky Dad said that Mandalorian and Boba Fett should fight because they're both kings, but they aren't the kings, the same thing.
Yeah, they should fight. I want to see them fight.
I
Yeah.
said that they aren't the kings of the same thing, not him. I did.
Yeah, well, so far, you what do you give this show?
100 thumbs up.
100 thumbs up. Okay. What about you, Ariana?
I only have 20 fingers and toes, so 20.
Okay. Wow, you really like the show. All right. So far, it's
25.
It's unanimous thumbs up for Boba Fett, the first 2 episodes, and a little bit of a mixed review for Eternals. By the way, kids, have you ever listened to rock and roll?
What's that?
No.
No?
What's rock and roll?
Oh, well,
We
yeah.
usually listen to pop music, like Trolls.
Yeah, well, you know, you need to expand your horizons a little bit, okay?
I don't like
No.
rock and roll. It's
Why do you
too
mean
like,
no?
rock and roll's too noisy like this.
Well, you know, I used to listen to a lot of rock and roll when I was a
Of course
kid.
you did. Of course
But
you
now all I have to listen to is, Baby Shark and Coco Melon and nursery rhymes every day. Okay, kids, calm down. I want you to be quiet because Jordan DesJardins is here, and he's gonna perform a song with his band, the Dead Robins. Listen to the song and come back and join us for an exclusive interview. We talk about everything and anything. It's gonna be cool. Enjoy. All right. Today on the Geeky Dad, we have a fellow Geeky Dad with us, Mr. Jordan DesJardins, right?
Yep.
I got it. I got it good there.
You got it right in the very first try.
Is that like French?
Yeah, it's French, predominantly French Canadian. So I'm what I call the white man's mutt, where I'm like 40 different things from every variation of white guy I could be. So I'm like Canadian and French Canadian and French, which are apparently 3 separate things. Plus probably another, like I said, 10 to 12 to 20 different things beyond that are just like smaller and smaller percentages as they go.
Right.
So, I like to think that I'm predominantly Canadian.
I'm in my what the kids call my multiversal chamber. Okay.
Which looks awesome.
Okay, it's as you can see, we have Marvel and DC and Mario up there. Basically, it was my man cave and the kids took it over.
Absolutely. I fully expect the same thing to happen to my I call it the Bat Cave. We have a finished attic where I've got all my junk and all my nerd stuff that's breakable right now. And everything moved up there when we had the baby. And it's just, I put a deadbolt 6 feet up the door so that I'm the only one who can get in there.
She'll probably get something to climb on.
to open
Yeah,
it.
eventually I figure we're gonna have to deal with step ladders and stuff, so I'll have to figure out a better security system in the long run. But for now, she's only like 2.5 feet tall, so I don't have to worry about too much yet,
Yeah.
other than whatever's left on the first floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the problem I have now too. I have a 2-year-old as well,
Yeah.
and as you know, they like to grab
Oh yeah. No, mine has been
and chew.
gradually.
Mine's chew a lot.
Yeah. I initially felt safe leaving certain kinds because I'm a big toy guy, so I've got toys all over the house.
Hmm.
But I'm also like an opener, thankfully, so I've got a bunch of open toys all over the house. So there were certain kinds that I thought would probably be safe to like leave out with a toddler and not be that, they're what's she gonna do to them,
Right.
which as I found out is chew. She's gonna chew on them. And then after
Hmm.
that, all the Funko Pops had to move elsewhere in the house also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured they weren't very breakable, but apparently they're very chewable.
Yeah. That's the problem I'm having right now. The
Yeah,
first two kids I had, they were perfectly fine.
yeah.
This last one, he's a biter.
Well, I'm lucky in the sense that this is my first. So this is my first and only as of right now. I mean, hopefully we'll have at least one more in the pipeline eventually, but I think the rules we came up with were not until the first one's out of diapers.
Right.
So we don't want to have to deal with changing two sets of diapers at once. So we're gonna wait till this one's out of diapers and then potentially do one more, I think. And then after that, I think we're calling it a day on that.
Yeah.
I
Well.
think two is
Yeah.
safe.
Well, that's one of the main reasons I got you on the show because I interviewed a couple of dads before you, and most of them are seasoned vets like myself. And
Yeah.
I wanted to get someone that was fairly new in the dad game,
Yes.
to get his opinion on what's it like being a dad right now.
Honestly, it's pretty awesome. It's a great time to be a dad if you're a geek. There's just so much stuff out there for the way my wife puts it is that it's stuff that I would like to buy but don't really have an excuse to buy unless I have a child.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all this like great little kids stuff for like Star Wars or Jurassic Park. There's like I bought a Power Wheels Jurassic Park Jeep for her last year,
Mm-hmm.
which she is currently just big enough now that she can ride in it because she had to wait till she was 2. But I definitely bought it like when she was less than a year old because I wasn't gonna not buy the Power Wheels Jurassic Park Jeep. And I already know that even once she ages past it, that thing's not leaving the house. But
Right.
it's like if I didn't have a toddler, I would have had no excuse to buy that thing other than, oh, it's a Jurassic Park Jeep. And I that happens pretty regularly. So that's as a new dad, I think my wife has already acknowledged that I've been abusing my position when it comes to buying neat stuff that only really is for little kids.
Yeah. One problem I have is my daughter. She's 9, and sometimes I have an action figure that I haven't opened yet,
Yeah,
like as a display,
yeah.
and it's hard for her to grasp. Like it's a toy. I want to open it. I want to play with it, and I have to tell her, no, you can't open that.
I mean, I have
So
that problem as a 34-year-old, so I get it.
yeah.
I'm very much. I couldn't tell you how many toys in the house. It's definitely in the thousands somewhere.
Mhm.
But like even in this room, there's probably over 1,000 figure. I'm in the living room. This isn't like a man cave or anything like that, or like a display room. This is just my living room. I'm looking right now at least 300 figures that are just Robin from Batman,
Right.
and like that's just like my main living room display, and that's not including the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff on the other half of the room, or my wife's Sailor Moon collection, or various Funko Pops spread throughout the house. So it's
And
uh,
I see a
thousands.
cat tower in the background there too.
Yeah, there's 3 cats running around. I think there's a fly in here, so they're all having a really good time tonight.
What's the name of your cats?
I've got Yusuf, I've got Princess Godzilla, and I've got Special Agent Burt Macklin, FBI.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
some random names right there.
yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with pop culture and my cat names.
Where did Yusuf come from?
It's Cat Stevens' real name,
Yeah, I know.
but that's why we went with it
Oh, I
because we
get
thought
it.
it was
Cat Stevens.
because
Okay.
he's a cat, so we call him Yusuf Stevens, and Is my wife's a big Cat Stevens fan, and I'm always big on puns, so we figured that was a good starting point as our first cat together.
That's one you got to think about.
Yeah, honestly, very few people have got the reference, and they're like, "What's Yusuf?" Like that is a choice. I'm like, if you know it, if
Makes
you get
sense
it, you get
though.
like a very small list of people who still get the joke, but
Yeah,
the people who do get it appreciate the pun.
yeah.
And
Well,
then yeah.
yeah. Well, let me just say, let's give some backstory here. I've known you now, what? It's going 10 years now.
I think a little over 10 years now. Yeah, because at this point, it's been almost 10 years since I left my old position that I worked with you in. So it's been at least 10 since we worked together.
Yeah, in some unnamed site. We're not gonna mention.
Yeah, then the site that shall not be named is the way I refer to it most of the time.
It's not a porn site, by the way. Okay.
Yeah,
But
but
within that time span, just 10 years, you've gone from single geek, married geek, to daddy geek.
yeah, it's been a busy 10 years, honestly, in that time, because I know I've been with my wife for probably, I think, 7 of those 10, almost 8,
Mm-hmm.
and married for almost 4 of them, so that's exciting. But it's been a long time coming, I guess, me being a dad. So me being a dad is like one of those things where I always wanted to do this. It's like, how when you're a little kid, you have that thing that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the only things I ever knew I wanted to be was a dad. Like, because career-wise, it was always, oh, I want to be this thing, and then I'd move on after a few months or a year, and I'd pick something else that I wanted to be when I grew up. But the one thing I can say was always a constant was I always really wanted to be an awesome dad. And that's something that this has really just been an awesome experience, is transitioning into fatherhood and
Right.
sort of, it's been a learning experience, as I'm sure everyone who's a dad knows, and especially you've got a few of them now. So you learn to change your habits, and like certain things become less important.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but like you sort of reprioritize everything, but then you also still find those things to share with your kid that are important to you. Like I couldn't tell you how hard it like rocked my world when my daughter at 3 months old would only start giggling and laughing at the TV because she heard Star Wars on,
Mm.
which was awesome. And now she's really into that. She
Which
really liked.
particular Star Wars?
At that moment, I was watching Clone Wars because I had never
Ah.
sat through the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to catch up before the new season came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched all the Clone Wars with my infant, and then eventually I watched all the movies with her and stuff. And she's 2, so she doesn't really
Right.
comprehend or get it. She just sees loud noise. She sees bright colors, loud noises. She really likes the music when it comes on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you share things that are important to you in that way. Another one that's been a really big one, because I was working from home on just the website I work for now for the last year. And I got to spend all summer hanging out with my toddler at home while I'm working on stuff. And we watched all of Adventure Time together. And that one she got really, really into. Because there's so much singing and there's so many bright colors, and it's like the perfect show for, I guess, a dad to watch with their really young child. And it's just so imaginative, and there's just so much going on there where there's jokes that are great for kids but also really entertaining for adults.
Right.
And
Right.
it's one of those shows that I regret that it's done. And I know they're doing
They're
like
doing
a
a couple of
sequel series
specials.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did the 4 specials, and now they're working on an actual sequel series that's going to be following the adventures of Fiona and Cake after the events of Adventure Time are completed. So it's
Right.
like set in the future of the show. So it's a sequel, but it's like, I'm expecting to see other characters pop up throughout, from the standard series. So it's exciting. But it's one of those things where it was really cool to get to share that with my kid, and now she walks around singing the theme song, because it's weird. My daughter has so few words, but she has all the songs in her heart, and she sings. She just walks around singing all day.
Ah.
It's great.
Um. What you dress up as for Halloween this year?
This Me or her? Because
Her.
this year she was a squid. So that was fun. It was her first time ever trick or treating because her first
Is that relation to the
first
Squid
Halloween.
Game?
Everyone thought it was, but really it was just that we saw the costume and couldn't control how adorable it was. It was just this really
That's what I was wondering.
goofy. It was a really goofy, googly-eyed costume, and we couldn't help ourselves. And it's funny because like this is her first time ever trick or treating, and she's 2 because her birthday is earlier in October. So her first Halloween, she was not able to do anything. She was barely a month old.
Right.
But we still dressed her up as Maggie Simpson.
Mhm.
And then her second Halloween, we did Jurassic Park as a family, and she was the T-Rex.
Wow.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
It was an excuse to do that and to finally buy the outfit to Alan Grant. And
Mhm.
like again, one of those things where I'm just going to use her as an excuse to buy all sorts of stuff that I don't necessarily need, but it'd be fun to have.
I mean, I don't know if your kid is like addicted to the Baby Shark stuff.
Oh yeah, Baby Shark is where it's at for her. That's all. She's really into this one show. It's on YouTube. It's called Little Baby Bum.
Oh yes.
And
Oh boy.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you know. It's
That's on
that's like her.
rotation.
Yeah, that is the only thing that she ever wants to watch at all. And from that, she's learned Baby Shark. So now she just walks around singing that and
Mhm.
singing about some sort of pink bus and
Mm,
all these other
yeah.
things.
I'm hearing that in my dreams right now, or nightmares.
It is no, that show haunts me sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's all she wants to listen to at all, and
They've
it's all she
figured
wants
out
to
a
watch.
science with that, I
They
think.
really have just mastered it, and we try to show her other stuff. Like I've tried to just put on like Coco Melon and some of the
Yeah.
other things, and she just doesn't care unless it's the
Yeah.
Little Baby Bum. She
Mhm.
was kind of into Disney has that new Spider-Man show that's like
Oh
for
yeah.
little kids.
My
She's
son
into
likes
that.
that.
She was kind of into that one because I think it's just very colorful.
Yeah.
And it
My
looks
son
kind of
likes
like
the
Little Baby
song.
Bum. Oh yeah, I think that's the guy from Fall Out Boy too, which is
It
fun.
is. Oh wow. And besides that, what other stuff does she like? Like
She's honestly, she doesn't really have anything. She's not really into a lot of media just yet. Like I
yeah,
know
'cause she's a little
she's into
kid.
Star Wars when I have Star Wars stuff on, but other than that, I've just been trying to show her a lot of the Disney stuff, like the classic Disney movies, and
Mhm. Mhm.
it's pretty much just been that Star Wars and Adventure Time, and she's not really got much interest in anything else. Oh, you know what? That's not correct. My wife, who is an avid Simpsons fan, has got my daughter hooked on The Simpsons.
Wow.
Which is it's weird because I don't think she understands it, but she walks around and she sings the theme song when it comes on with, The Simpsons, and then she does the dope timed with the timing of the intro.
Yeah.
So she knows what these things are and she acknowledges them. And then if we load up Disney Plus, 9 out of 10 times it's my wife putting The Simpsons on just because there's so much of it. You can just throw an
Yeah.
episode on to kill time.
Mhm.
And my daughter will like look at the TV and see the Disney Plus logo and she'll be like yellow because she knows that the yellow people are coming up in a second.
Yeah.
So that's one she's definitely gotten herself into, but I think that one's my wife pushing it, which it's fine because like I said, I am very guilty of doing it with Star Wars and other things that
Right.
I'm into. So I'm excited to see where she falls on that nerd spectrum because there's so many different things, and especially in our house, there's so many different corners of pop culture just everywhere because we have like I'm like the biggest pop culture junkie that I've ever met. I know that's like every geek thinks they are, but I am a massive pop culture junkie. I have so many toys and collectibles that I've gathered over the years. Like my house is people always say it's like a museum, or it's like if the apartment from the 40-year-old virgin was like a whole house and it was tastefully done. So it's like it's of a lot of neat geeky stuff spread throughout not like a
Lifetime.
massive house, but like a decent sized
Right.
3-bedroom house.
Mhm. Okay.
So it's exciting.
Let's take you back in time. Okay.
Yeah.
The
I'm here.
little Jordan.
Yes.
What was the first thing that you geeked out on?
Oh, Batman. Absolutely Batman. Actually,
What
no.
particular?
Sorry. I can say it was probably Ninja Turtles,
Okay.
but the thing that I latched onto the hardest was Batman.
Was
That's the
that
thing
from
that I think.
Was that from the movie or the cartoon?
The animated series. The first thing I remember ever nerding out on was I stayed up late and watched the first ever episode when it premiered.
Yeah, it was prime time, right?
It was like 93. I was like 6.
Yeah.
Or no, I would have been 5 when it came on, but like I was like 5 years old. I'd never seen anything Batman yet. But my dad was telling me it was going to be neat, so I stayed up to watch it. It was on prime time, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it's like, honestly, Batman the Animated Series is still my all-time favorite show.
Right.
These years later, and I'm 36, and I've watched it. I couldn't tell you how many times. 36.
Right,
I'm 34. Wow, I'm just aging myself up because I'm excited about things. But
yeah, well, I mean, they're doing X-Men 97. I wanted to do Batman.
You know, they recently, in the last few years, actually did some comic books that were a continuation.
Yeah.
It was The Adventures Continue.
Yeah.
And they're talking about series again in some capacity, but like, who knows what they're actually going to do for it? Because, you know, it's funny, all those guys are still, well, not all, but most of those guys involved with the show are still there. And they're still very game to jump back in. Like, I know I've talked to Kevin Conroy. I've talked to like Lauren Lester, who was Robin and Nightwing. I've talked to I can go down the list. I've interviewed half the cast of that show and most of the producers, and every single one of them said they'd love to come back and do more, and they just need Warner Brothers to sort of pull the trigger.
Right.
So they said that if you want it, you know, be vocal about it. And I personally have been advocating for a while that I'm being as vocal as humanly possible about it, because I would love to see them bring back the Timverse, as we call it, or the DCAU.
Yeah. But you know, it's not the first time Warner Brothers brought back something, so maybe they
I mean, hell, we're getting Michael Keaton back in live action next year, so that's something.
And Young Justice came back.
Yeah, which is honestly, Young Justice is another huge favorite of mine, because as you know from just knowing me, I'm a massive Robin nerd, which is also from Batman the Animated Series, where that started. That was my first introduction to Robin. So that was like a huge thing for me. And it sort of formed who I became as a nerd. But Young Justice itself was such a great show. And I'm so glad that it's back. They just started season 4, which is the second season since they brought it back.
Right.
It's been very different from the first 2 seasons, but
more
I think
mature, I think.
It definitely has matured, where they've been trying to mature the cast of characters with it.
Right.
And it's been pretty good though.
Yeah.
It's definitely been interesting to watch what they do with that show, and how they change it and grow with. They try to, I think, grow with the audience as the kids that watched it when it first came on grow up.
Right.
Especially at this point, seasons 1 and 2 came out a decade ago, so they had a huge gap in between seasons, and they just keep introducing new characters every time, and then hoping you aren't latched too hard on the old ones, I think.
Yeah, it's good. Let's talk about your website, GeekAnything.
Yeah. Yes, GeekAnything. We launched about a year ago. It'll be a year this week, actually, since we launched November of 2020. Yeah, so November 2020 last year we launched after built the site over the summer last year. Essentially, a lot of us are from other websites that have been around for a while. Most of the people on the team have worked together in some capacity before. And most of us, unfortunately, all got laid off during the pandemic.
Right.
And we were laid off or let go or furloughed. The way I think my favorite one was the website that a number of us had been involved with pretty much just told us that, hey, you guys are welcome to keep working, but you know, we're not really doing this anymore. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we kind of got everyone kind of got screwed, and it sucked. And I'm not going to name names. People, I mean, unfortunately, people know where I worked, but I don't disparage them at all. You know, I wish the best to the people who own and operate that site, because I think it's still up and running, but there's not a lot going on there these days. And like, again, I wish them the very best of luck, but I essentially talked to a lot of the other people who were feeling some type of way about that. And you know, we decided, let's build something for ourselves and build a new platform, because there's plenty of news media websites out there and like everything like that. Everyone knows the big ones, and everyone's got the ones they like and knows which ones to avoid, because they make stuff up. And we wanted to build something that was a platform for the writers to get up and talk about what they want to talk about.
Right.
So we built something for the fans by the fans, is the way I like to put it. And that's why we wanted to call it GeekAnything, because there's literally something for everybody. There's anything we feel like being like geeking out over, we're going to talk about. We want to talk about cool news as it happens. We write like reviews. I like to do, we have this subsection called Rewind Reviews, where we look back at older properties that are a little bit of a throwback, but like I love to talk about movies that I enjoy. So it's great to, you know, on an anniversary or even just because, to look back at something that makes me smile. Or I have another segment that I haven't done one lately, but I actually have one in the pipeline that's coming up soon, called Fan Cast at 4, where I take and I throw together my fan cast for, you know, the big superhero movies, or it doesn't have to be a superhero, but like, you know, adaptations of properties people enjoy. And of course I started it with the Fantastic Four for the MCU, which is like the big ones that people want to, you know, people are speculating for a while, who's it going to be, like who are they going to cast in these roles. And it's interesting to see what comes up, because like on top of me pitching my 4 top suggestions, I always ask like the readers and ask people on our website and on social media, who would you like to see in those roles? Because, you know, everyone talks about like, oh, Jonathan Krasinski and Emily Blunt, but like nobody actually wants to see them at this point. I think it's been too long. I think we're all burnt out on the joke that it's going to be them. I love them as actors. They're great. They're very talented. I don't think we need another, what's the way I put it? The MCU has plenty of white heroes. I'm excited to see some more people jump in, and there's nothing about the Fantastic Four aside from maybe Ben Grimm that says they have to be white people that are just the same. Other than Ben Grimm, I stipulated when I made my casting choices that Ben Grimm had to be Jewish because that's the character. But other than that, I went kind of all over the place with it with my suggestions.
There's some hope in that because, you know, they've shown Kang is African American. So.
Absolutely. And I'm excited about that.
And I think Kang is a distant relative of Reed Richards.
He is a distant relative of Reed Richards, which is, again, very, very exciting to see what they do with that. I'm excited to see who they're going to cast as the lead team. I'm excited to see who they're going to cast as Victor Von Doom, because that's Victor Von Doom is going to be a character who's going to be the next big bad, one of the next big bads across the whole MCU.
Oh.
And you know, everyone's got their
4 times already. Basically, you know.
Yeah, it's not been great, and you know, I do commend some of the ideas. Like, I'm one of the few people who is a stance defender of the 2015 movie, because if you go into that movie and ignore that it's supposed to be a Fantastic Four movie, it's a pretty fun sci-fi flick for the first 2/3, and then the third final act just ruins the whole thing. And the cast isn't bad. Like, Toby Kebbell was great for what he had to work with. I'll always defend him on that, because I feel like he's one of those actors that keeps ending up in the wrong project. Is the way I like. He is one of those actors that is just begging to find the right role.
Didn't break out yet. No.
He should be a household name, and I'll constantly stand by Toby Kebbell as somebody who should be a household name. But he's done a bunch of genre picks already that have all just been the wrong movie. Or, like, of course, the one movie he did that did really well, he was a monkey, so he didn't really matter.
He was in Kong also.
He was Kong. He was Kong in Kong. I forgot he was in Kong, but he was Kong in Kong.
Was he the motion capture
of Kong? In Skull Island. Yeah,
wow,
he was the actual. He did all the mocap for Skull Island.
I know he was in it. I didn't know he was the mocap.
Yeah, I always forget that he was in that because his character was like great in that too. But that's just more proof as to what I'm saying. Is like, I remember he did the Fantastic Four 2015 movie, which is awful. He did the sequel to Clash of the Titans, which nobody saw. He did Bloodshot, which nobody saw. So
I didn't even see that.
You know, I watched it. I watched it on streaming somewhere. I forget where it was streaming, but it was up, and I sat through it, and I said, you know, I don't regret having sat through that, but I don't think I'll ever watch that movie again. Because he didn't, you know, all the advertising was, oh, it's Bloodshot, and Vin Diesel is Bloodshot, and I tell you what, he looked like Bloodshot for a staunch 35 seconds at the end of the movie.
Wow.
And the rest of the movie, it was just Vin Diesel playing Vin Diesel. Yeah, spoiler alert. Movie nobody wants to see. But it's one of those things where I watched the movie. I'm like, why would you make this movie if you're not going to make him bloodshot? That's what people want to see. That would be like if they made the Spawn movie and he was Spawn at the end of the movie for 3 minutes. It just doesn't work.
I always thought that Bloodshot should be played by somebody like Frank Grillo.
Yeah, that would have been great. I love Frank Grillo. He's another one that like should be a much bigger name than he is. And I feel like bad because I know he's getting up there in years at this point already.
He's
So
good
he's
in everything I've seen him in.
He's fantastic. He's always the best part of whatever he's in, with a very few exceptions. Like I know he was great in Captain Winter Soldier, but like it's really hard to be the best part of that movie when you're up against everybody else in that movie.
Yeah, I like him in the
but, like,
Purge movies too.
Yeah. No, he's just always consistently great. Or he did the sequel to God, what was that movie? There's this movie Skyline, I think. He did one of the sequels to Skyline. He was great in that. There is no way that movie should have been good, and it was great.
Yeah.
Because he elevated the material above what it should have been. And Frank Grillo is just one of those faces I always love to see him pop up and stuff. Or when I see a movie coming out, like you see so many. I'm a giant movie guy, so like I've got nearly 2,000 discs in my house because I'm a big physical media collector. But I've got I watch for all the straight to DVD stuff that comes out because there's a lot of really, really hidden gems there. And Frank Grillo has like cornered that market lately, and it's been great. It's been really great to see him sort of fill in that action hero role for movies that can't necessarily afford an A-list or star. But like realistically, Frank Grillo should be an A-list star.
Right. I mean, like I saw him in a Chinese language action movie.
That's awesome. God, which one was that? That was I know what you're talking about because I saw the trailer and I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see where people pop up these days.
Yeah.
And especially with China's becoming the new Hollywood in a lot of aspects. So you're starting to see more Hollywood talent popping up in foreign films that you wouldn't expect to see necessarily. They just I think it was a year or two ago, it only released in the States more recently, but there was this movie where they were advertising it as this big deal that they got and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same movie, and it's an action movie. And they were in all of the advertisements, and they were in, I think, one scene at all together. Even I think not even just together, individually.
I think I know which movie you're talking about.
It was like The Iron Mask or something like that.
And it's like a pirate movie, I think.
It looks like a pirate movie, but it's weird. But I think both of them, like the trailer shows frequently cuts to the two of them, but if people are paying attention, they're in the same outfits in every shot, and it's like they pretty much just show you all of the footage they have of those two in the trailer, because they're barely in the movie from what I understand, but they were all over the advertising because it was such a huge deal to get them both.
You got any plans for the site for next year? We got a new year coming up. What do you anything
honestly
special?
we're building towards bigger and better things. I know some people have asked us about us starting a podcast, which is something that's on our radar, but it's on the agenda for something we want to work on. We're still a young site, as you know. We've been launched for about a year now. We've been active. We've been pumping out new content daily. So we have lots of new stuff going up every week. We've got a lot of cool things. I know right now I'm working on our big holiday gift guide, which I talk about. I'm like I said, I am the collector is the way I put it with a lot of things. So I like the idea of being able to sit down and say, all right, this is all the cool stuff that's out right now. If you're trying to shop for people for the holidays, this is all the stuff you want to be looking at, because that's a big part of who I am, because I love to talk about the things that I enjoy, and I really enjoy collectibles. So even if I can't necessarily have all of them for myself, I can at least point people in the right direction towards things that could be the perfect thing for the thing that they're fans of. There's pens, figures, bags, the mug. There's always mugs. There's a mug for everybody in the world. About something that they love, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, and Etsy corners that market, I think, right now. Right?
Etsy's great for that. I love shopping on Etsy. I really like buying original pieces of art from Etsy if I can, because there's so much cool stuff out there from independent artists that are just trying to, put their work out into the world. And, whether it's pop culture related even, or just something that looks really cool. It's just nice to be able to support someone who's, putting something original out there.
Right.
which is like I've always been a big supporter of trying to put out original content and trying to focus on supporting the little guy if I can. Or like one of the things I always did with my old website was we used to do a lot of indie comic spotlight, and we'd talk about like all the Kickstarters out there and all these small publishings that are happening and like all these books that nobody else is talking about, because that's the ones that need the attention.
Yeah.
The big companies don't need the spotlight. It's they advertise for themselves. You put out a new Spider-Man thing, everyone's talking about it already. You don't need to pay for a dime of advertising because everyone's already talking about it. But there's all sorts of things. Like I know a buddy of mine has a book that he's been kickstarting for a while. I think he's on issue 3 or 4 now. But it's called Red, White, and Broke, and it's like a funny superhero story. The guy's name is Mike Spring. He's great. The book is great. I don't mean to plug him on your podcast, but I kind of do. It's like one of those things where off the top of my head, it's a creator-owned project that's really fun, and he's actually been getting a lot of attention from like bigger names in the comic industry have been like writing him like quotes on it, giving him feedback, and it's been really exciting to watch someone who's like just this is the first thing that he's put out into the world like that, and he's being really successful with it, and it's exciting.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it's great having you on the show.
Absolutely.
And if you have anything to plug in the future, let me know, and we can come back and visit the Multiversal Chamber again.
Absolutely. This was great. I really appreciate you having me on. This is really fun. I have to ask before I go, is that an original Marvel Superheroes arcade cabinet, or is that one of the more recent miniature ones?
Oh, that's the miniature one.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I see it. It's been playing in the background the whole time, and I'm just like, man, I remember that game. I haven't played that in so long.
I want to get the Ninja Turtles one so badly, but I can't find that right now.
They just put out a new one of the Ninja Turtles. They did Turtles in Time finally.
Yeah, but that one is like super expensive.
Yeah, because it's got the 4 controllers. They did that, and they're doing the X-Men arcade game with all the controllers and stuff.
There was one that had like both games in one, Turtles in Time and the original.
Oof.
Together.
That's amazing. That's something to have. Like if you're going to invest in an arcade cabinet, it's got to be like that, or like X-Men, or I'm a big advocate for Tron, for the original Tron arcade game, just because it's iconic. But it's, if you only had room for one cabinet in your house, you made a pretty good choice.
This cabinet has 3 games. It has the Punisher game.
Nice.
It has the Marvel Superheroes game, and what else? Oh, the X-Men Children of the Atom.
Oh, that's a fun one. That's the fighting game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was, God, I haven't played that in so long. That was, I think, original PlayStation era. So
right.
There's a lot of stuff from that time that like there's a lot of games that people have just forgotten about over the years that have come and gone. Sorry, I don't mean to keep rambling about just like random stuff that I think about.
No, it's fine. That's what this show is all about.
Yeah. But again, thanks for having me on. This has been great. It's great catching up with you. I am always down to talk about all this fun stuff. And thanks for again just having me here. This has been awesome. I hope all the listeners out there enjoyed hearing me ramble about nerdy stuff that I like. Definitely check out GeekAnything.com. We're, like I said, putting out all sorts of new content all the time. Hopefully we'll have a podcast sometime soon. And that's pretty much it. Just check us out and let us know what you think. Definitely leave comments.
Thank you, Jordan, for being a guest on the show. Again, everybody, check out GeekAnything.com for all the great geek content besides our own. And I hope you come back next week. We have our usual hijinks in the multiversal chamber here, and we're going to have some reviews, and maybe in a couple of weeks we might have another guest. So enjoy your day and come back soon.
Trick Tutor Show is not over yet. We have a shout out to Auntie Trisha. Happy birthday!